Hello, welcome back to Dry Creek Beekeeping. So today I'm going to be taking a look at the Delta Hive and the Gamma Hive over here. And what I'm looking at here today is mainly this honey super. The Gamma Hive isn't really going to be doing much, I don't think, because they swarmed. And at this point in the year, I don't think this hive is going to swarm. The only thing that I really care about that at this point is this honey super. Alright, so starting off here with the Delta Hive. The last time I checked on this hive, for a video anyway, was 3 weeks ago. So, I kind of have an idea what they're doing in this honey super already. But, for the sake of the video, I'll talk like I don't. This honey super, put it on 3 weeks ago, there was nothing in it. That's why it's very exciting to see they've been filling it up. In fact, almost all of this comb actually has honey in it. Whether or not it's capped, that's the question, but still. Seems like the majority of the honey in here is actually capped, which is good to see. Yeah, these frames aren't actually looking half bad. The honey flow at this point has kind of dwindled down to very, very little. Now this is something that I don't want to see in a frame. Yeah, there's a lot of brood there. Of course, there's a lot of honey too, but there is a significant amount of brood on this frame that is, well, it would make this frame completely unharvestable because I don't really want to get bee guts into people's honey. So that's a small issue. I think the easiest solution to that, because there's actually quite a bit of brood on these frames here, I think the easiest solution would just be to get a queen excluder and put that on here so that once all this brood hatches, the queen can't get back up here and lay more eggs. So that way, even if I get a fairly low harvest from this hive, it's not like there's any brood still left that I have to deal with when harvesting. Some of these frames have so much brood on them. Like, this is just an entire frame of brood, really. It looks like there's only 4 frames that actually have brood on them though. So the good news is, at least it's not like the entire honey super is just brood. Now, the reason I didn't put the queen excluder on in the first place is because that greatly slows down the progress at which they make these frames. So, for example, if I had put the queen excluder on, they might not have been as eager to actually go up into these frames, and I may see no honey here. But since I didn't put a queen excluder on, there is honey in here, although some of it has brood. Not a big deal. I really just have to wait 2 weeks with the queen excluder on, and then there's no more brood, and I don't have to deal with that. And I got the queen excluder here. I'll put that on in just a second. For now, I'm going to set this off to the side and take a look at the deep supers. You know, this hive, this entire year, it's just amazed me how good it is. Because it's a first year hive. They started out with nothing. And yet, I have made 3 hive splits with this hive, and they filled a honey super. That's just insane. Not only that, but a lot of their frames are actually foundationless frames like this one here. And these foundationless frames actually look quite good. Unfortunately, they're really only using it for brood, or for drone brood. But, not a big deal. I think if I hadn't made hive splits with this hive, I could have gotten 2 honey supers out of this hive, which is just insane for a first year hive. Also, as we head into fall, that's right, up here in northwest Illinois, it is already heading towards fall. I can see that this hive is very strong, and I have good confidence that they are going to survive the winter. So this foundationless frame actually does have normal brood on it, which is good. It just seems like they like to build the comb really big on the foundationless frames. I'm not sure why. I'm seeing a lot of practice queen cells as I go through this hive, but that's not a big deal. So long as they aren't actual queen cells, it doesn't really pose an issue. Holy cow, the amount of drones on this frame is insane. Holy cow. All the rest of the frames in here are just full capped honey. Heavy, heavy frames. That is looking good for winter. I know that there's one last honey flow here coming up in September with the goldenrod. And I feel like that there is going to be everything that the bees need to make it through winter. All right, I've seen everything that I need to see. I'm going to go ahead and put the queen excluder on and then put the honey super back on the hive. All right, so in 2 weeks, I'm gonna come back and take a look at this hive. And hopefully there's no more brood in the honey frames here. If there is, well, then I can't really use those frames, but I'll take them off anyway and save them for next year. Give one of the hives a head start. All right, now moving on to the Gamma Hive. This is the hive that swarmed, what was it, like 5 weeks ago now? What worries me about this hive is there's almost no activity near the entrance of the hive. So I'm hoping that they have a queen and everything is good and they're making brood, but at this point I just don't know. Well, initial signs, it looks like the population is up. So that's good. Oh no. Okay, so I think they were unsuccessful in the queen surviving. So it also looks like they have a laying worker issue. All this here is all drone brood. And looking down in between the frames here, it looks like the same stays true. It has a very spotty brood pattern. It's not organized. This is a sign of laying worker in the absence of a queen. It's so late in the year at this point that I don't know if giving them a new queen would allow them to survive. Yeah, definitely a laying worker. There's multiple eggs per comb. In fact, there's even multiple larvae. I don't know. Right there. There's 2 larvae in one cell. But yeah, this hive has no queen. And I'm not entirely sure what to do with it. I mean, of course, I can always buy a queen online and introduce it. It's gone, at this point, it's gone 5 weeks without a queen, and I've only now noticed, because I haven't been down to my hives because I've been so busy. I guess my options are introduce a queen, add a frame of eggs and brood, and if neither of those things work, then I'll just take the 2 halves of this hive and add it to one of the splits, and that should work. Because in a laying worker situation like this, it's not the same as just a laying worker. In this case, the worker will stop laying eggs once it smells queen's pheromones. In a normal laying worker situation, it doesn't matter whether or not there's queen pheromones, it will just lay eggs. So I'm going to start by going and getting a frame of eggs from a different hive, and I'm going to put it in this hive and hope that they make a queen that way. Realistically, none of the bees in here actually have that much time left, unfortunately. So there is a fairly high chance that this hive will just die, which of course is tragic, but there's not much you can do, especially at this time of the year, to recover a hive like this. I mean, we're only 2 months away from the first snow. That doesn't give me much time. All right, this frame here is from the beta hive, which may be a mistake because I wish I had gotten that on video, but that was the most aggressive I have ever seen a hive in my life. That was insane. I've always heard people say that when a hive gets really aggressive, it smells like bananas. And yes, I can now attest to the fact that it does in fact smell like bananas when a hive swarms you. But I'm gonna close up this hive. So I'm gonna come back in a week. I might have a queen that I bought off online with me. We'll see. I don't actually know if it's worth it to requeen this hive at this point. I'm gonna try my best to keep this hive alive. That's always the goal, is to keep your hive alive. Yeah, I just don't know if it's worth it to keep trying with this hive. It might just be better in the long run to take what I can get from this hive when it dies and use that in the future for new hives. I don't know. All right, I'm sorry. I have to get video of this hive. This is insane. Like, I'm just putting the cover on and they are attacking me. I wonder if I can get video of my face. I don't know if you can see all the bees just going at my face mask here, but this is ridiculous. Yeah, this is the beta hive here. I don't know if they're naturally like this, or if this is just a result of it being fall and they're overprotective of their stores. I'm honestly tempted to say that they're just naturally like this, because I had a similar issue last year with this hive being insanely aggressive. But this here, what I'm experiencing right now, is like a different level of aggressiveness. If I wasn't wearing a bee suit, I would probably be going to the hospital right now. All right, so to recap what I saw and what I did here today in this video, with the Delta Hive, I put a queen excluder under the honey super, so that way all the brood that's in the honey super can be gone by the time that I harvest all the honey. So that way I don't have to waste any of that honey. I can use it all and hopefully still get a decent yield out of that honey super. with the Gamma Hive, they aren't doing that great. It seems like the queen is dead. They have a laying worker problem because there is no queen. And at this point, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with them. I'm going to try to requeen them, but if it doesn't work, then I'm just going to let the hive die, pretty much. And also, for some reason, when I got a frame of eggs and brood from the beta hive, they just went crazy and swarmed me. I don't know if that's their natural temperament or just a result of it being fall, but it was terrifying. I am going to requeen both the alpha and the beta hives once we get to September. So hopefully when I do that, their temperament changes. And honestly, the best case scenario is that it's just a result of genetics. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.